All right, welcome everyone to another edition of the Bluefield College Coaches Show, live from the Applebee's here in Bluefield, Virginia. Big round of applause to the AAC Setter of the Week, Kassidy Holloway, everybody. And Kassidy, you're our first ever guest that's not a part of football, our first ever female athlete guest. How does it feel to be here in the hallowed grounds of Applebee's here in Bluefield, Virginia?
Well, it feels pretty good, I guess. This is kind of new. I never had to do this for my old school, so.
Well, I'm really glad you can be here, and I'm sure everybody else is really excited to have you as well. So AAC Setter of the Week, how does it feel to have that honor?
It's pretty awesome because I think that it just shows how much work we've been putting in lately because obviously we didn't have a great start to our season.
Yes, so you guys started out at a bit of a tough start to the season, and now you guys have won 2 in a row, one against Tennessee Wesleyan, which was a conference win against the Bulldogs, and then on Saturday you had Emory and Henry and got a 3-set win against the the Wasps. What really has changed for Bluefield College volleyball, if anything, for you guys to get those wins?
I think we are finally learning how each other plays, and we're getting a feel for how each other is on the court. So we're connecting more.
So even with that tough start to the season, I bet it's kind of hard to stay motivated. So how did you guys stay motivated to get the last 2 wins?
We just kept building each other up. We didn't try to, break each other down and do all that. We wanted to keep being positive and keep working and getting better.
Now, who stepped up as a leader for Bluefield College women's volleyball in this time?
For sure, Katie and Kaylee Kay, all of our seniors, they've been really good leaders and role models for us.
Now, have you been able to do that even as a sophomore and a first-year player?
I'd like to think so because I am on the court the whole time because I am our only setter. So I think I've tried.
Now, let's talk about that, though. That's got to be really tough. One, this is your first year here, even though you're a sophomore. You're coming from Hiwassee. But a setter just commands the offense of volleyball. So how hard is it to build chemistry with players you've never really met before?
It's pretty difficult because it's hard to figure out where everybody likes to hit the ball, where to put it and everything. But we've done a good job in figuring out all that.
And with you guys, you said you're the only setter. What is that formation called?
What do you mean?
It's like people run like a 6-2. Isn't there a 5-1?
It's a 5-1.
5-1. Okay. I actually know that about volleyball. It's starting to learn a little bit more. Is it tough, or is it actually something you're familiar with where you're the only setter on a team, or do you play with other setters in your past?
Well, at Hiwassee, we had multiple setters, but all through high school, I was the only setter, so that was not a new thing for me.
So it's something you're actually pretty comfortable with.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned Hiwassee a couple of times, actually, where for those who don't know, Hiwassee is a school that actually no longer exists. It closed. Can you take us through what you were thinking back then when you're just a freshman in college and then all of a sudden you think the school's closing?
It was awful. It came out of nowhere. They didn't even, I found out through social media that it was closing, so they didn't get it out very good. It was really panicky because nobody knew where they were going.
Well, let's talk about you didn't know where you were going. What were the steps for you to get to Bluefield College?
We had multiple college fairs come to us. Bluefield was actually one. They came to us. Coach Buddy came down here and watched all of our teammates, and he came and recruited us too. So that really helped. And I came and visited here, and I just liked it here.
What's your relationship like with Buddy Gallimore?
It's pretty good. He's a bit of a jokester, so we get along pretty well, I guess.
What does he joke about?
Everything.
Everything. He's
never really serious until it gets to volleyball.
What's the funniest thing he said today?
Today? Oh,
yeah.
Lord. I have no idea. He said something about me being setter of the week, but I can't remember what it was.
Well, I mean, he had to congratulate you, right?
Yeah, he hollered it from across the gym at me and was yelling about it and hollering and stuff. It was pretty funny.
I've never seen Buddy get that animated before, other than he got a yellow card not too long ago, I believe, like a week ago.
Yeah.
What was the reception like from your teammates when you got the AAC Setter of the Week?
Oh, they all were super happy for me. They were congratulative and all, so it was great.
I bet your outside hitters have to be, they have to feel like that award is theirs too because they're also making you look good, right?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Well, you've always been a setter, or did you ever mix it up in high school? Were you an outside hitter, a middle blocker?
Oh, yeah, middle for sure. No, in high school ball, no, I was our only setter. But in club during high school, I played right side and libero and defensive specialist.
And you're from Greenville, Tennessee, which
Yes.
is 2.5 hours from here. When did you start playing volleyball?
On a team, I started playing in middle school, but my mom played, so I was already pretty familiar with all of it.
Is your mom the one that's always retweeting all of our stuff?
Yes.
That's awesome. I really all the content we put out. It's really nice to have someone like all this stuff. So I hope she's actually watching today. Who was really influential in your growth as a volleyball player from high school to college?
I think my high school coach really helped develop me as a player a lot. She really supported everything that I wanted and helped me just like grow as a player for sure.
Now, let's go back to your college days. What was it like when you made that transition from high school to college volleyball? What were some of the obstacles that you had to cross over?
The game is a lot faster in college, so you have to like get used to the pace and just like how much stronger everyone is as a player.
Did you have to change something about yourself?
I just had to get better reaction times, really. That was most of it, and just like figuring out how to change up my sets and make them faster.
So you guys are coming off of 2 wins in a row against Tennessee Wesleyan and Emory and Henry. What has the mood been like in the locker room or just throughout school with you guys now that you finally got a couple of wins?
Oh, we're all a lot happier, for sure. We're joking more and getting along a lot better, and it's just really good. The chemistry's there now.
Yeah, so you guys have a game tomorrow against Milligan, road game in Tennessee. What do you guys need to do to get the win against the Buffaloes?
We just need to keep working together and keep playing our solid defense. That's what's winning our games is our defense, for sure.
And is that a big part of your game, you think?
Yeah.
How many digs do you get per game? Do you know that off the top of your head?
No, probably like 4 or 5 maybe.
Is that something you want to escalate a little bit more?
Yeah, defense is probably the most important part of the game because without defense, I'm not doing anything.
Defense wins championship. That's like the second time I've actually heard that this week in a volleyball context. So now we're going to move to my favorite part where we just get to ask you like a couple of quick hitting questions, and I want to get your take on this. So Kassidy Holloway, the AAC Setter of the Week. What is your favorite song?
Oh, Lord. I don't really have a favorite song. I listen to everything.
No favorite song. But if you had to pick right now, you open up your iPhone, you have to click on which song?
Hot Girl Bummer, Black Bear.
Okay. Favorite movie?
Stand By Me.
Favorite pregame meal?
Chicken nuggets.
Okay. Favorite season of the year?
Summer.
What sport would you be playing if you weren't playing volleyball?
Tennis.
Favorite vacation spot?
Orange Beach, Alabama.
Really?
Yeah.
I've never heard of that place. Is it really nice there?
Oh, it's super nice.
What makes it nice?
The water's so clear, and it's just awesome. It's really great. It's a good beach.
I'll have to look it up. And finally, what is your favorite part of Bluefield College?
The scenery. It's very pretty.
Kassidy Holloway, everybody, the AAC Setter of the Week. All right, next up we have Dewey Lusk, the head coach of Bluefield College football, if you want to come on down. All right, Coach. Come on in. Yeah, I know I didn't have a tightrope for you. You want to scoot in a little bit more, Coach? Get you on camera. Everybody at home wants to see what you look like. Getting the headset ready, and there we go. All right, Dewey Lusk, everybody. Well, Coach, let's talk about the game Saturday. What were your overall takeaways from the loss to Ave Maria?
No turnovers. Positive. That's the first time this year we didn't have a turnover. I thought the kids played extremely hard for 4 quarters, and we had an opportunity going into the 4th quarter to win the football game. We need to make the plays to finish, and that's what we need to continue to work on. But the kids are very upbeat. They know what we have to work on, and we're going to continue to put one foot in front of the other and keep getting after it.
What's
down that are critical that you've got to make those plays? We had a two, and get the ball's got to bounce our way a little. But we knew that this part of the schedule was going to be extremely hard, but it's going to make us better down the road going forward.
Now, this was actually one of the games where you guys looked pretty great. The quarterback at 400 yards, or excuse me, 399, but we'll round it up. I mean, a guy that could really get the job done on third downs. Is that something that you can really teach in practice on how to hold a team on these third and long situations?
Well, you just have to have everybody on the same page, aligned, and we make coverage calls. There's always, and then you've got to make checks according to what they're doing, and sometimes safety's supposed to invert and come down, it doesn't, and vice versa, and there's just little thing. And those secondary backs, it's the first time that they've played together because we graduated several folks in the secondary last year. So, we've tried to dial things back, make it simpler, and they're going to continue to get better as it goes along.
And you have some athletes in the secondary. I mean, Tyrese Henry has proven time and time again he's a great NAIA safety. How can you build the chemistry with a few of the newer guys like Charles Turner and then Jonathan Green, who was here last year but still trying to build a little bit more experience, and Greg Amos as well?
You have to play, and you have to play with one another. And the more you play and the more experience that you gain, the better you're going to be. And see, Charles Turner Cox, he is a great player and going to be a great player for us, but he'd been injured. And he missed a couple games. So, we've played 4, so he's actually played in a couple. So, going forward here, he's just going to continue to improve as we go along.
And I think something else that really has stayed strong for Bluefield College, the linebacking core has always been solid. I mean, DeMarcus Wimbush, he still plays very well every game.
Oh, he's a consistent player. And once again, an experienced player.
Right.
And the more experienced players you have out there, that's our whole goal. It comes back to retention. It comes back to all those different things. But the more the teams that have junior and senior laden players have an advantage, and that's what we have to work to do.
Well, speaking of experienced guys, was it a real difference to have Logan Hinnett back into the lineup after
without
missing
a
against
doubt.
UPike?
Here's a senior. He's a leader. What a fine young man, a great football player, and it's always good to have him in the lineup.
All part of that defensive front that actually looked pretty strong. And another guy we've been calling on, a couple of guys actually, Michael Barnes and I believe Kayshawn Ridgel have started to step up for
they've
Bluefield
done
College as well.
a tremendous job being freshmen. Kayshawn Ridgel, evaluating him on film and getting him here to Bluefield. He's been even better than we anticipated. So that's been a plus. And another young man, besides Michael Barnes, has also been Miles Hunt Cruz has played well, too.
Exactly.
He really has. So, Coach Howard's been able to alternate several folks up front and keep those guys fresh. But 3 or 4 of those guys have been pleasant surprises.
Now, with the team being 0-4, what do you all do as a coaching staff to make sure everybody's still focused and motivated to play the next game?
I mean, we can. It's business as usual. The best thing about this is we have another game to get ready for, and it's the next game up is the most important game, and that's Emory and Henry, and everybody. Right now, I feel like the kids are pressing because they want to win just as bad as the rest of us.
Yeah.
And everybody's been a little bit frustrated. But at the same time, the only way to get through this is to stay positive, keep working, and try to hone your craft.
And this is your alma mater playing Emory and Henry this weekend at 6 o'clock. Big game for Bluefield. And can we just take a step down memory lane? I like doing that with you, Coach. What are some of your favorite memories playing Emory and Henry football?
While I played or playing against them, because I've done both. Well, let's see. The other night I was at the Lord Botetourt Bluefield game, and one of my former players is a head coach at Lord Botetourt, Jamie Harless, and he's done a tremendous job. So I'm standing there on the sideline. There's 7 or 8 other Emory and Henry guys that I coached on the sideline. So I looked at one of them, Drew Bishop. I said, Drew, how old are you now? Drew said 48. I said, my goodness, what's happened? And but mind you, I was very young when I coached him.
Right.
Okay. But, we had, Lou Wacker, Fred Self, coaches, just great men. When I was playing, Coach Wacker, I'd come out. Everybody has a role on the football team.
Right.
Well, everybody knew I wanted to coach.
Yeah.
And I was always the third or fourth team quarterback. I held for extra point and field goals. Coach Wacker, if you knew Coach Wacker, he always had the top defenses in the country. And all he was concerned about was getting his defense ready for the game. And he came out on the field every day. He'd hand me the scout cards as a player. He'd say, Dewey, take that offensive scout team down in the corner and get them ready for my defense. And so that's what I did every day. But I wanted to prove to him that I could play, so my whole deal was he's going to pay attention to me if I'm completing passes against his defense,
Right.
And nobody wants to be a scout team quarterback. Everybody wants to be an All-American, and they want to start and all that. But I learned so much about football while doing that. But also looking back, what a compliment, because he trusted me to take that scout team down there on my own to get them ready, and later he hired me. So
wow,
yeah. So I'll always appreciate that from him.
So whenever we look at your coaching bio, you can add about 3 or 4 years because you were pretty much doing that when you were a player as well.
Well, and then I started calling plays my junior year.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I'd walk up to the offensive coordinator, Coach Self. You got to remember, Coach Self was an offensive line guy, okay? So trap, counter, ISO. Trap, counter, ISO. ISO, counter, trap. There's 11 people in the box. Well, I couldn't stand it any longer. Coach, if we fake the ISO and throw the post over the – I said he's in the backfield. So here we go. We throw it, score.
Wow.
So we had a 6'3" wide out against a 5'8" corner. Kids are going, Dewey, go back up there and tell him another one. So I went back up there. I said, Coach, let's throw the fade over here on the left side. So this is what kind of man Coach Self was. So this was my junior year. We're playing Washington and Lee, and we were down 14-0, and we came back and won the game 21-14. And a guy from the Bristol paper came up to Coach Self and goes, man, you called a whale of a game, Coach. That was a great game. Good job. He goes, I didn't call those plays. He said, see that guy right there? Standing there in a completely clean uniform. Me. And that's how I got my start.
Wow. Junior year. So you were calling the plays. You must have been 20, 21, right around then?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right. Coaching debut for Dewey Lusk. And, Coach, I don't think a lot of people understand that even at the bigger levels and, of course, the smaller levels, the scheduling goes all on you, and you're just trying to figure out your opponents the next year. What was it like getting the scheduling process to not only have Emory and Henry as a scrimmage the last couple of years, but to finally have them in a game that counts?
Well, let me tell you this. Being in the Mid-South Conference, a 22-team league, scheduling's very easy.
Yeah.
Because you get 10 games just like that. You get a couple open dates. But, you work with the athletic director and you work with the president, and do you want to go out and try to get a money game? Do you want to play a local rival? And then, we all kind of try to figure what's best for Bluefield College. And, last year we played Presbyterian, and that was a fun game for the kids, and it was a money game. This year we're playing a rival game in Emory and Henry. And there's nothing better for Southwest Virginia. When I was at UVA Wise and Emory and Henry, Emory and UVA Wise played 4 times, and I've coached in all 4 games, 2 at Wise and 2 at Emory. I mean, there'd be 7,000 to 10,000 people at those games, and there's just a buzz of, talk, and you bring everybody together. And, Southwest Virginia's football crazy. And it's just good for everybody. It's good for recruiting. It's good for everybody. And hopefully we'll see that on Saturday night, bringing everybody together. And what's going to be neat for me is will have coached half the people in the stand at one time or another.
Right.
So that'll be cool.
Well,
That'll
Coach,
be good.
that was actually my final question. I was going to say, what do you think this game means to the future of small school football in Southwest Virginia? But I think you just answered it perfectly, and we love having you on every Monday.
Well,
Coach
thank
Dewey
you.
Lusk, everybody. No problem. All right, next up we have QB1 himself, Aidan Wilder. Yeah, a bit of a tough act to follow after that story, Aidan, but I'm sure you'll do fine. Whoa, there we go. We're fine. Yeah, no, it's all right. Hey, Bob, you mind if we help out with the camera real quick? Yeah, sorry. Yep. Oh, yeah. All right, just pan us over a little bit more. A little bit more. There we go. We're good. All right, Aidan, thanks for being here. You have had an interesting path from Portland, Oregon. Now you're in Bluefield, Virginia. How exactly did you get to Bluefield College?
It is interesting. It's definitely a long story, but so out of high school, I had a full ride to D1AA FCS Portland State, and after my redshirt year there, I was really wanting to play, but there was a few guys in front of me, and I was looking like if I wanted to get on the field, I was probably going to have to go somewhere else. And after talking to a few schools and taking a year off of football, I ended up at Linfield College and played my first year at quarterback there, started a few games, and that same year, I had no idea that the head coach's son was coming, but the head coach's son ended up taking the starting job about game 5. And the year after that, I got moved to receiver, and I decided I'd like to graduate, so I took a ton of classes that last year. And after graduation, I was just looking at working, thinking about working for my dad, and just the thought of that and leaving football kind of with a bad taste in my mouth.
Right.
Kind of motivated me a little bit to just start looking at other schools, trying to finish football on the right foot with a good taste in my mouth. And so I was looking around at schools around the country. It looked like they might need a quarterback because that's what I'd done my whole life, and I've always had confidence in doing that. And just wanted the opportunity to be a starting quarterback in college. And I ended up talking to Coach Lusk and then a couple coaches at another school called Doane University in Nebraska. And really what won me over with Coach Lusk was just the person he was, Coach Ketchum, Cacklish, just the whole coaching staff and the type of people that were here attracted me. And then another reason why I wanted to keep playing football too is I was thinking about coaching, and I thought it would be a good thing to be able to finish coaching and get connected with people who know people all around the country who are good coaches. So that's
That definitely answers my question.
Yeah.
Is it tough transitioning from team to team now that you're on your third college and third football team?
It's definitely a challenge, especially being the quarterback and having to kind of everybody knows who you are, and you're not always knowing everybody else's name back right away. So taking that time to learn everybody's name and just try to be a leader of people that you're not super familiar with, that's definitely a challenge. But I think it's helped me grow a lot as a person, for sure.
Yeah, what have you learned about yourself since the transition to Bluefield?
Well, I'm not one to quit. I'm not one to not go after what I believe in. And, I just seeing myself as a quarterback after playing receiver, and just it was more of a personality thing than a player thing. It's just that's kind of the person I see myself as. And it's easier to be vocal. It's easier to have people follow you when you're in that position. And so I think it's just learning about the type of person I want to be. Hopefully someday maybe lead a company, lead as a coach or something like that. So,
was it rusty after going from being a receiver at your last school to being a quarterback again?
I always had in the back of my mind that I wanted to keep playing quarterback potentially. And I haven't done it my whole life. Definitely there's some rust to knock off. But I think just having the experience of doing it for such a long time, it's starting to come back.
Yeah.
Definitely coming back. I wouldn't say slowly, but I'm getting more and more comfortable each week just playing. And hopefully things aren't, there's not too much further to go.
Right.
Yeah.
And, watching your game, it does look like you are comfortable back there. And a big part of the game that you kind of command at is also the running game. Mm-hmm. Have you always been a mobile quarterback?
Yeah, I've always been a dual threat quarterback. I actually tried to be less of one in high school because I wanted to get recruited as a quarterback, and I remember I had some bigger teams who talked to me about being an athlete or playing different positions, and so I kind of wanted to tone that part of my game down in high school, but just the way this year's going and having a young offensive line, things like that, has kind of forced me to bring out that side of my game, and that was kind of something I wanted to do more of after the first couple games, just after not having a whole lot of time in the pocket at some points, and just knowing that would bring another dimension to our game that I think our team could use.
Has this been an issue, not necessarily an issue, but a challenge for you before working with a young offensive line?
In high school we had a lot of depth at O-line. My last school we definitely had some challenges at O-line, but they're not doing a terrible job.
Right.
I think a lot of times it's me getting jittery after the first couple games, and then taking my eyes from downfield and bringing them down to watching what the D-line's doing because I'm not having a whole lot of trust. So I think a big part of that is just spending more time with them and gaining trust so that I can stay in the pocket, keep my eyes downfield, and not have to make as many plays with my feet. So yeah, I think as the season goes on and we get to know each other better, even just as people off the field, that'll help us a lot.
Well, speaking of building trust, how hard is it to build chemistry with a brand new wide receiving core that you had never worked with before?
It's challenging, especially with the new plays and new playbook and having all that be new to me too. But we have a great group of receivers. Not a whole lot of depth right now with a lot of young guys just having to learn the playbook, but there's a lot of talent there. And so just knowing that and being able to trust guys to go up and get the ball, and I'm going to continue to trust that all season, even when we don't have great games catching the ball. I just know that the talent and athleticism we have on the outside. So that's, even with not having a great chemistry with them, just knowing their talent level definitely helps.
Now, is there anything you do with your teammates off the field to build chemistry?
So last week after a game against Pikeville, I took the O-line out to get wings at McAdoo's, I think it's called.
Okay,
they have the 44-cent wings, and so I got all the O-linemen, or the traveling O-linemen, 20 wings, and then I said whatever else you guys could take care of.
And you fit the bill.
Well, I got help from my dad. For sure.
Okay.
He's never been one to support me a whole lot with school, but as far as things like that go, he's a very entrepreneurial person. So as far as building chemistry, being a leader, he was all about it. So when I talked to him, he was definitely just like, let me know. Because I was going to do 10 wings, but he was like, you're taking out your O-line, so you might need a little more money than that. So he helped me out with the bill. So
And
that was definitely good.
Finally, looking into this game against Emory and Henry, you're coming from Portland, Oregon, so maybe it's a new thing you had to grasp that this is actually a big game as far as the history of and the future of football in Southwest Virginia. What do you guys need to do to get the win on Saturday?
Well, before I get into getting the win, I'd actually talked to Coach Lusk a couple times about Emory and Henry, just knowing his past with them. And so I'm definitely a little bit familiar with the rivalry there and knowing this is definitely going to be a big game for him. And then to get the win, I think Coach Lusk already talked on it. It's just cleaning things up. And I can only really speak as an offense. And I think for us, we have times where we have great O-line play, we have great quarterback play, we have great receiver play. So I think just bringing it all together at the same time and finally clicking on all cylinders is what we need to do. Because we have it there. It's just we missed a block, missed a throw, missed a catch. So bringing all that together and having things finally click, I think, is what it's going to take. And so hopefully in practice we can just focus hard and have a lot of energy and come out ready to go.
We'll be watching and we'll be cheering for you. I'll be announcing the game, but everybody else will be cheering for you, Aidan. So good luck with that. But before you're done here on the Bluefield College Coaches Show, I want to do the quick questions again. I find it to be my favorite part of this Bluefield College Coaches Show, especially with the athletes. Okay, so Aidan Wilder, quarterback of Bluefield College football. What is your favorite thing to do to pass the time on the bus?
Listen to music, fall asleep.
Favorite show to binge watch?
It's a tough one. The Office.
Great answer.
Yeah.
Favorite video game?
Fortnite.
Okay. Oh, I heard a no from back there. No,
Sorry,
okay.
I
I've never actually played it.
Yeah, it's pretty addicting.
Who tells the best stories on the Bluefield College football team?
Coach Lusk. Definitely the best talker. As far as players go, man, That's a tough one. I don't hear a whole lot of stories. I'm gonna go with Coach Lusk.
Coach Lusk.
Yeah.
What is the scariest movie you've ever seen?
Scariest movie. Wrong Turn.
What's that about? Well, they make a wrong turn.
They make a wrong turn.
Okay,
and they
yeah.
end up in a bad place.
Duh,
Yeah.
And finally, ending it here, what is your favorite part of Virginia and Bluefield College?
The people. Definitely, it's almost like a small town from back home. Just people. You look at people in the eye, you say hello. It's not a whole lot of walking past people and not knowing people's names, and so I think the small town feel of it, and then just definitely the people.
Gotcha. Aidan Wilder, everybody, quarterback of Bluefield College football. And that wraps up another edition of the Bluefield College Coaches Show. Come see the football team this Saturday at 6 p.m. And until next time, take it easy, Rams fans.